make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Wilmore.
Kinyo, I feel like we've been talking about having you on my show for a year and a half now,
Yes.
on and off, and then life happened, and then I had a show, and then I didn't have a show, and then I had a show and didn't have a show.
Yeah, something happened. I didn't know. I was just like, this guy's flaky.
Yeah. Even though I see him once a month, I can't pin him down. So I'm glad you're here now. I want to get the stuff that you have coming up out of the way.
Let's do that. You know what's
because-
crazy?
No.
I was just talking to someone. Plugs should go at the beginning of the episode. You put the ads at the beginning of the episode, but then the people you care about that you're talking to, you're not going to put their stuff at the beginning of the episode?
I care about you.
Yeah, and you're the first one. I thought no one did it, but now you're telling me that you want to do plugs at the beginning.
Yeah.
This is where I was meant to be today.
This is all you. Look
Yes.
right in that camera and tell us what you have coming up, because you have a couple things that are really cool.
Guys! Oh my gosh.
Zoom in,
I
cameraman.
have stuff. Yes, focus. So I got a couple campaigns, I like to call them. Right now, there's Vote Earth that's going on. That's really cool. The whole point of that is to plant trees. Me and Gardopia Gardens and anyone who partners with us, Mr. Composition is going to be there. We're going to have different performers. We're all partnering though because we want to try to get 1,000 trees planted by the end of this year. Now we will settle for 100 because 1,000 is a lot, but our goal is 1,000, and by next year we want to do way bigger than that. And so we're having an event. We're going to have a few performers, poets, musicians. There's also going to be a workshop, something around tree planting. I don't know, but if you want to plant your own tree, because we want it to be possible for anyone to be a part of this, right? If you want to plant your own tree, we want to give you the knowledge on how to do that. And the whole point is, you know, we're going through global warming, climate change, and I've always been, like, especially since I started doing media specifically, I was like, you know, we like to talk about stuff. We really do love to talk, but how do we connect even the smallest desire to see positive change happen to action? You know, and so this is one of those things, like on a big level. Hey, it's really hot. It was really hot in Texas this year. We're thinking about it. What can we do? We can, you know, screw politics, screw it all. You know, there's too much divisiveness there. Definitely, I'm not saying don't go vote. Of course, we have to.
Oh my God,
Fired.
Lauren,
Fired forever.
would reach out and strangle us. Lauren, that is not what
Yeah,
we're
definitely
saying.
not saying that. Go vote. But also vote Earth. You know, if then take some time away from all that stuff and just think about how you can, you know, vote for the Earth. And Gardopia Gardens is a great partner. So
Are the trees being planted here?
September 21st is the event. Yes. So the ones that are planted, but you can take part anywhere. So if you plant a tree, we're also saying like take a picture of your tree, hashtag it voter, so we can see what's going on. I did some math, right? So I think it's gonna take somewhere around 300 trillion trees.
So maybe you want more than 100.
Yeah. So basically, every person on Earth would have to plant around 200 themselves, babies included.
Starting now.
Immediately.
Yes.
Right away. Actually, it would actually be a little bit too late if you started today. You would have had to start.
We
A
should
while
have
ago.
filmed this while we were planting trees.
Yeah. Cut to. Okay, sorry. I don't want to ruin
We'll cut that
this.
in. Let's go outside.
Just one shot, 5 seconds next time. We'll just take their money.
And
Vote Earth, September 21st. That's really big. And then for me, for my project, I'll be really fast about it. I am an artist and I really care about my own art. And this year, as of every year, I'm always trying to do better and make art that makes me feel like, hey, even though you're not famous, you made art that made you feel really good. That's always my goal. And so this year, I'm centering all of that around one, which is my project to just kind of get all of my artistic abilities out in one thing, which is music, poetry, and like motivation, and bring other people together who kind of reflect all those different things. And so I'm doing that also at Gardopia Gardens because I love Gardopia Gardens. I'm doing that it's gonna be an outdoor show. I'm getting lights, people. I'm getting crazy sound. I'm gonna try to get some fashion involved, people wearing interesting stuff. So I want to make it huge, and I really just want to make it an aesthetic evening. Like I love music. I love going on stuff like Coachella. So the highest ability that I have to create that, and I've been putting out a lot of music. Just dropped my EP Warrior. Go check it out. Super dope. And so all that music I want to perform it. All my poetry, obviously not all of it, but I want to bring it out and make a moment, one moment. And that is on November 9th.
Oh, fun. This is Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. That one's not free. It's $3.
How do
Minimum. Or suggested donation. So it's kind of like a crowdfunding thing, but.
okay. How do they find out about it?
So go to my website, for all my stuff, everything always, go to www.kinyo, kinyo.org.
I'm gonna put that up here
Boom!
right now.
Yes.
So people will see it.
Super simple.
I mean, you kind of do everything. This is why I'm fascinated by you.
There you go.
You-
People say it's not true though.
You're always doing like 9 different
I
things.
don't knit. I don't crochet.
Do you paint?
I do. I got a paint job right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm painting a logo on the side of a building. So
What time is that at? What time are we at?
I was actually gonna get there and post it on Instagram, be like, who wants to come watch me do this? Because I know it's gonna be lonely.
We should be Facebook Living this now. I just did a Facebook Live interview last night and
Yeah.
accidentally called him by the wrong name the entire interview.
Oh, that's his fault.
Well, I should have done a little research. I mean, I knew
Yeah,
him.
so-
Poor Ken. I'm sorry, Ken.
You
Anyway.
called him what, Kevin?
Yep,
Oh, that's funny.
I sure did.
That's
Yeah, and I had, because I don't even know what happened. I don't even know. I mean,
You were right. You just added you literally just added 2 letters.
Yeah.
To Ken.
I don't know what happened. It was such a brain fart. I don't have a clue. Anyway, so back to you. Poet, author, musician. You're super involved in the community. That's how you and I met with Growing Empowered together.
Yep. You too. You're really involved.
I like to be busy.
Yeah.
Do you like one of those forms more than the other, or is it like the combination of all of them that you love?
That's interesting. I like them all individually. I probably like poetry the most. I'm just gonna be straight with it when it comes to art. I think it's the most versatile, like, because a song might not match, and then it also might age out, and then it also takes a certain amount of time with certain poem. But poetry, a good poem, that you're using, and I really feel like poetry are these tools that you use to like store different things, because it's pretty abstract, and then you apply your own emotions on top of it, and then you create something that you can go back to whenever you want. So I love poetry the most, but I think I like them all equally, and I experienced them all through phases. Like I'll always be writing poetry, but I'm not always painting, and I'm not always making music, at least not right now in my life. And so those two, music and painting, are kind of more of an outlet, whereas poetry is more of just like me, just like where I'm at, always.
What did you want to be when you were little? When you grew up? All of those things? Or was it something completely different?
It was definitely painting, poetry, and music were really heavy. I thought Michael Jackson was super dope. I thought everything related to those tapes and DVDs and his music videos was really cool. I would like dance along to them and stuff like that. I always liked music, and I really wanted to get into it, and just ended up getting into it through the drums, and then going into other stuff. Always liked music. Poetry, I don't think was a thing to me in my mind. I didn't even know it existed until, like 14 or something like that. But I always wrote. I liked writing. I really wanted to be a writer. So yeah, I wanted to be a writer, a musician, an artist. I won a art contest in kindergarten, and that really set it off for me. I was like, anything, you give a kid recognition for something like that, that's what I was like, Picasso, basically.
Was your family and like your teacher, was everyone super supportive of that like route, or were they like, can you be a normal person?
No. Okay, so I never said that I wanted to be those things.
Okay.
Now I'm going back and thinking what I liked back then, but I would always say like 5th grade teacher, because that just seemed like really cool. You have a good level of authority.
I always wanted to be a teacher too. That was my
Yeah, and it seemed really cool. Like you look at, I guess, because you're in school, like, and especially when you're younger, you're looking at the teacher. But it just seemed like a really cool thing to do, to be able to create that system. Especially when you're in it, you're like, oh man, I can really do something. So I would almost always say 5th grade teacher. And then I also liked the reaction that it got, because I knew people liked the idea of like doctor and stuff like that, and I felt like I was almost laughing them in the face, like saying, "Look at your humanity. I want to be a 5th grade teacher, but you somehow look down on that."
I love that it was a specific 5th grade teacher.
Yeah, I think it might have changed, but I remember 5th grade that was really big for a period. I was just like 5th grade teacher. From like 4th to 6th grade, it was really hardcore 5th grade teacher, and then a doctor.
Did you have a specific kind of doctor you wanted to be?
No, I didn't know there were really
Just a
specific
doctor.
kinds. Yeah, I knew that there were doctors, so I wanted to do that. They seemed cool. Doogie Howser
Right.
was one of my faves.
Why would you not
Catch
want
that. Yeah, especially like I still love Child Geniuses. That's like one of my favorite things, like in movies, because I was always like, oh yeah, that's me, like the kid who played cards really well, and then he ends up in Vegas, even though he's only 12 and wins like $10 million and buys like the craziest stores and stuff like that. Was like
somehow has his own home at 14.
exactly.
Yeah.
And a butler who all like, I don't even know how he signed all the paper. None of it makes any sense, but yeah, that was like my dream when I was younger. I was like, please.
You didn't grow up in San Antonio, did you?
No, I grew up in Mill Valley and the Antelope Valley, kind of.
How long have you been here?
Since 2013.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
How
do
about
you? It'll be 2 years next week.
Woo!
Yeah.
You staying? You're getting out.
I'm still sweating.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. So you're leaving.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
It's a nice place, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
It's one of the coolest cities, actually. Like, it's very chill, which gives you a lot of room for production.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are using that. That's the story of the Spurs too. I don't really watch basketball, but I've been looking at some of their stuff, talking about why they were one of the greatest teams. And they used to say, it's not that distracting. Like, you can get stuff done. What are you doing in San Antonio? You're hammering out practices. You're focusing on the stuff. Not that there isn't fun stuff to do, but the vibe is very chill. I like it.
I always tell people I'm still so shocked at the amount of talent here.
Yeah.
There's so many people doing so many cool things here.
Yeah.
You
That's
being
why I'm
one
gonna
of
get
them.
famous
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? I really do think that there's so much room for production here. It's crazy. Like production, especially when it comes to media, because the costs for everything are so low.
Yeah. What do you think of like the access to being anybody can be Instagram famous now, and like all of that, like kind of oversaturation of media or people being personalities like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's great. I think, it's still not anybody. You still have to be extremely talented, I think, to be able to sustain an audience's attention. So anyone who's able to do that, bravo. It's actually extremely hard. Like, even the people who make it seem like, oh, I'm just making dumb videos, the fact is they're putting a lot of work into it, way more than I want to put into that level of creating those types of videos. So I applaud those kinds of people who do that. I think, though, it has lowered the value of art in society. So I think we're I don't think everyone, but I think a lot of people who consume social media are consuming a lower quality of art than I don't know if I'm gonna say the generation before them, but then it's possible, and I think it's gonna get a lot better. They might actually be getting better art than their parents though, because their parents were no. There was a certain quality control when there were only a few channels. I think that isn't going down, but there's more diversity right now. But definitely art quality bottomed out a little bit. I think right now this is where it's starting to get people are really getting back into art. I think you'll really start seeing kids really being able to identify artists that they really like, and it's going to be a whole new set of people probably. I'm just making stuff up right now, but that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched a documentary the other day about like one of those kids who goes online and like talks and makes whatever much money by his sponsors, and just the amount of production behind him sitting at a desk and you think it's meant to look like he just got home from school and popped on.
Yeah.
There's a whole team behind him.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when you get to. We have to take a break because the camera's going to die in a minute.
And for commercials.
Yes, and for commercials.
Canon.
All Canon. This is where we would roll in your commercial. But what was I even saying? The people who.
Lots of production goes into this stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's cool when you get to, and I think you do this a lot too, where you get to create with your friends.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that after the break?
Let's
Creating
do
with
that.
friends.
Creating with friends.
We'll be right back with Kinyo after this. Stacey Andon Coaching. The world needs your flavor of magic. Visit her at staceyandon.com. What we do at the hospital is we bring in live painters for patients, and they just paint, and people watch. It's like a fishbowl. Okay. Like.
Yeah, that's true. If I could like set it up in some kind of way, I could probably. I don't know if there's Wi-Fi over there. I'll try.
That's true.
I'll try. I'm gonna be using my laptop to paint off of for the image.
Will you text me a picture after so we can show? Are you doing it all tonight?
Probably not. No. I
just
want to get some stuff up there so the guy doesn't think I'm lazy.
Flaky, like I am.
It's hard not to be flaky.
It's true.
Honestly, I feel like most people's experience of me is that I'm flaky, and it's gone into like even like I remember during my partying phases of my youth, I don't know. I got this awareness because of this one girl this one time. She was like, "Oh yeah, I know you. You have a really short attention span." I was like, "What?" Came out of nowhere. Am I known for having a short attention span? Like, what does that even mean?
Does it mean because you're doing so many things? Like,
I think it's because my style at parties was like non-stop, like 2-minute conversations. Like I didn't like getting stuck because for me parties were so exciting because I was like, I want to talk to this person, I want to talk to this. Oh, that guy showed up, and I know everyone because usually I was throwing parties. So I liked to go from thing to thing, but I didn't think that was earning a reputation for having a short attention span. And I think that and that's something that I'm trying to change right now in my life. I'm like, all right, how do you move a little bit slower so that you can accomplish whole things in like a certain kind of rhythmic way?
I think in kind of that world is that it is so quick.
Yeah.
And you're doing so many different things. So do you have you figured that out yet on how to slow it down a little bit and kind of take it?
Actually, interestingly enough, I think this is just something what I'm thinking right now. I think it's by speeding up. I think what's going on is if you're moving, the speed of your output, especially if you have more than one area of interest or like one thing that you're doing, if the speed of your output is a little bit too slow, you kind of just don't, there's not enough output to create a sense of closure. I don't know, at a certain time. So with me, I'm just like, okay, if I just am always putting out music, that's why I really started these challenges. Last year I did like a book a month. And then right now I'm doing like a song a week. And then I think next year I'm going to do like a painting a day. because actually I do create paintings really fast. Not obviously certain things, but the way that I like to paint abstract, I create them really fast. So that's kind of been my thing. I think actually now that I'm older, I'm also settling into this is who I am, and I know I got this, and this, and I can kind of boil the world down into 8 things, which seems like a lot, but I think before then it was like 19 things, and some of them I wasn't sure about, and let me try other 5 things, and now like I really have my.
You just want to try everything, and you want to experience everything.
And you should.
Yeah.
At a certain age, certain time in your life, a certain area of your life.
Yeah, and then you start realizing what you're really good at, or what you're really passionate about, or
what are you good at? What's your number one skill from your perspective?
I think I am a really good listener.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about and learning about people. I think
that's really cool.
I love just sitting and talking to people.
Yeah.
For a certain, as long as I have coffee and like.
That's really huge.
I don't know. I just think people are fascinating.
Yeah. We don't have enough of that at all.
No, we don't know anything about anybody.
You know, that's crazy because they call it a talk show, but really it's a listening show.
It is. Well, you talk, I listen. They listen.
Ooh. Yeah.
We talk.
That's true. I think also just the power of listening. Like when I do my weekly podcast or when I do the podcast live, I really realize, you know, this is a really good time for talk shows or listening shows, really, because no one's listening to each other, you know? We have everyone's divided into these groups, and it's like, what for? Like, what a waste of everything.
Yeah.
You're wasting all of this stuff now because I don't know. There's just so much to do. There's so much actual stuff to do, and all the problems do have solutions that the divisiveness is really just. Actually, you know what I realized? It's just a game with people. Like, most people don't care that much either way. If you care about the environment, I'll see you in voter. Okay.
Because we'll be planting
Okay.
trees.
Not your Trump rant on Facebook, even though those are definitely necessary at times.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even go on Facebook anymore because it's just the same thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like you talk about it, but you're not doing anything about it. So what's the point of even complaining about something?
Yeah.
If you're not going to put any effort.
Voter. Plant some trees. Plant some trees.
When I was talking about all the things you were doing, I did not say host. And you host a lot of things.
Yes.
And you brought up your podcast, and I want to talk about that.
Okay.
So let's talk about it. How long have you been doing a
Let's get into
podcast?
it. My first foray into podcasting back in the Antelope Valley. Shouts out. Me and my friends, we started a podcast network called Podosaurus Radio. Which that's exactly why we made it. I can't remember the exact moment we created it, but I remember the general thing. We're like, yeah, we've done it.
Was this like before podcasts were a thing?
I mean, they were a thing, you know. Of course, you know, they've changed. They've become more of a thing now. Yeah, they were less of a thing. But this was 2011, 2012, I think 12 more. But I had a podcast on that network called Independent. I had a blog at the time called Independent Blog, and I had a podcast that accompanied that blog. So I had an independent blog, and I would basically just talk about indie stuff. I only made like 7 episodes, something like that. I tried to continue that when I moved to San Antonio because I moved while that podcast was going. They kept some of theirs up. I was also on some of theirs, Gaming Donuts, which was a blog about gaming, which I started with my friends Steven and Oscar. Let's say Steven started it. I don't want to take credit for that one. But
Oscar doesn't get any other credit?
no.
Okay.
He was definitely
Alright.
the laziest of the two.
We'll edit that out as well.
No, he did some stuff, but most of it useless.
Okay.
So, anyway, no, don't edit it out. I'm going to share it with them specifically.
Moving right along.
So they can watch that part. But, yeah, so that's how I got started podcast. But eventually I stopped doing it, and then I didn't podcast for a long time. And then I started really listening to podcasts. And then I started to go live with Kinyo. as actually a television show. Over time, I've morphed it into, I go back and forth, whether it's a television show or a podcast. And now I just focus on my Kinyo HQ podcast. And anything I put out, podcasting-wise, I just put it out all through there to make it easier.
And I think podcasts have now also turned into their own little TV shows because everyone films their podcasts.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole...
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like, what are TV shows really now? You know, when you can film anything you want. It's weird that we would call like something that never airs on TV a TV show. You know, but that's the format of episodic like things.
And it's everyone who talks about my show, they're always like, "Oh, you have a podcast." I'm like, "Well,
Yeah,
not
that's why
really,
I actually, you know, that's interesting because podcast is a lot like poetry for that. And my thing is like I didn't start doing it, but then that's what people called it poetry. I was just writing down ideas, and then I was like, okay, it's going to be easiest if I just start calling these poems. And so I did that, and it makes sense. People are like, oh yeah, poems, yeah, poetry. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me read
something
my
I can grasp."
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's just like an excuse for me to read my ideas in front of you. It's like, oh, listen to my poem. But and then podcasts, I just wanted to do stuff, and then people were like, oh, you have a podcast. And to this day, like my podcast, that part of my life is so minimal. Like I really only have my current podcast. I only have 7 episodes out, and I don't even have the other podcasts up on anymore. But people really still say, "Oh," because they recognize it because that's what's going on podcast. But I am getting back in the rhythm and putting out more and more. Just dropped an episode today with Jacob Yarborough. I don't know how to say his last name really.
That's fine. You know his first name. That was more than I have for some of my guests. He's funny.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a good comedian.
Yeah.
Where do you think entertainment is going in the future here in San Antonio and also just in general? I feel like I'm on Instagram and I see TV shows that are on channels I've never heard of, on stations, you know, like I kind
That's
of love
interesting. So you said you see what?
I see like on Instagram, like, oh, I'm on this TV show that's on whatever channel, blah blah blah, on some, like a network I've never heard of, or a station I've never heard of, or.
Yeah, that's such a cool question. In San Antonio, I think, like I said, there's a lot of room for production here. So I think that might also be something that's just going on everywhere because of, you know, we all have film studios, you know, like either in our pockets or like really cool ones that we can like get really reasonably easily. So I'm not sure, but I think that the art here lends itself to like denser art. So I think San Antonio, interestingly, I'm just going to give it my prediction. I think San Antonio will become very much so a hub for filming media. One thing that I don't see a lot of in San Antonio, though, is those critical finishing roles, like an actor or, you know, like a stage performer at a certain type of level or anything like that. And it doesn't seem like a lot of people in San Antonio really focus in that area, you know, because there's not as much competition, so maybe you don't focus on your finishing skills as much. And so those extroverted type things, I'm not sure if those are going to be, if they're here and they're just going to rise up, or if they're going to be imported. But I think a lot of people are going to be moving to San Antonio to create media. I think so, definitely. I really do think so. And then, that sounds so weird, but I think there's going to be some really good media production studios that come out of San Antonio. And they're going to have a competitive advantage of just the chill atmosphere in this age. Because you see it a lot, like a lot of these YouTubers will be like Midwesterners and stuff like that. You don't have to be in LA anymore. Yes, they do move to LA, but I don't know if that's always going to be the same. So media in general, I think it could go a lot of weird ways. I'll give you my weirdest prediction.
Okay.
I think companies like Netflix and streaming companies will come out with like their own devices and tablets, and that'll give them a little bit more control. And then there'll be like 30 Netflixes essentially, and that'll boil it down. And they'll all have their own production funnels, and they'll all have their own like tablets, and you'll buy like the specific one that like is meant for you, like your demographic, and you'll be able to watch endless media, about stuff that you really care about, like your favorite shows, your favorite movies. You'll be able to watch that all day if you want.
You'll never have to leave your house. We just
Really?
we just have to figure out how to work from home
Mm-hmm.
and make money, and so we just sit around and.
A lot of people do that.
You what?
A lot of people do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you like doing outside of all the things you're doing? What do you do for fun?
That's so interesting. That's a really big question right now that me and Mr. Composition, he's a rapper, and we like to do this thing called Expansion. And it's basically like these road trip workshops, essentially, now that I think about it, where originally we said we're going to go on tour, called the Expansion Tour. We started driving around to Austin, San Marcos, and trying to get into open mics and performing and stuff like that. And then so we did that, and then we went to LA, and then we went to Japan, which was super crazy.
Yeah.
And that was a really big moment for me where I realized this is my favorite thing to do in the world. Like, this is my single favorite thing, and I got to do it. And so where do I go really from here? And with all that energy expended, we're trying to figure out how do we get back to our aesthetics, our core aesthetics. We need to find art that we really, really like. And so we talked about, we made this video called Recharge, and we're calling this season of Expansion Recharge. And we're like, how do we get ourselves recharged? How do we connect back to our favorite things? And I was like, I really like skateboarding. I watch a lot of X Games skateboarding, and I was like, I need to start skateboarding again. Okay, I'm not too old.
No.
Okay, why'd you smile?
I don't
like
know
that?
how old you are, because I thought it was like a really kind of a cute little I'm gonna skateboard. Like,
I'm skateboarding.
Yeah. Like, I think that's an awesome a very I don't know how to skateboard, but a very simplistic
Yeah.
not anything crazy no skateboarding.
Yeah, I like skateboarding,
Yeah.
and I haven't made time for it in years. Even playing basketball, I haven't made time for that in years. Years playing basketball. Well, that's not true. I played basketball once, a couple months ago. But skateboarding is something that I'm really interested in. I got to kickflip once in my life. I love watching the X Games, and now they do the X Games 4 times a year, so I get to watch it all the time. I love, what else? I like live music. There isn't really anything going on right now where I know how to access the live music that I'm interested in, interestingly enough. I like jazz. There's the Elephant Room in Austin. That's probably the best way for me to see live music. But I want to, go see John Mayer. Yeah, Kid Cudi maybe. Live music, skateboarding. So I'm trying to figure out things that I really want to do now afterwards, and realizing I think there's so much to do around that, especially if you're in media. Most of these YouTube channels are kids just filming something they like to do.
Yeah.
And if you're really doing what you want to do, you're going to connect to people in a really cool way. So I'm really trying to tap back into that stuff. I don't even really know.
And then you're already if you're in the field that you love, you're already doing the stuff that you love doing anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a certain percentage, you
Yeah.
know, but some stuff gets in the way. So I spend a lot of time just doing media stuff, a ridiculous amount of time doing Instagram, Facebook, video editing, audio editing, website designing, website widget configuring type thing. It takes up a lot of time, and I'm really? I think a lot of people get into that mode, and before you realize it, yes, I've always loved just media technology, so it's not like I hate doing any of that stuff, but keeping it in balance and not letting it get to the point where it's taking 40% when it should be taking 20%. And that's where I'm trying to relax a little bit more, because it can feel a little bit anxiety-ish, the whole trying to get out the videos and edit the right things, because there's unlimited stuff to edit, and it takes hours.
Yes.
So
It's my least favorite thing to do.
yeah, kind of, but
Some
it's also
people
your
love it.
favorite thing, kind of, right? Because you want to see the thing finished. You just
No.
no.
I don't. I'm glad I do it, and I want someone else to do it, and
Yeah.
I'm excited when it comes out. But I don't want to sit in front of a computer and listen and watch myself for 4 hours trying to edit something.
Yeah.
I used to have 3 cameras when I did this show at a different place, and I was like, I
Yeah.
have to watch. No.
I don't know how to get around that. Though. What do you think the hack is for that? How do you get around having to
Getting
edit?
someone else to do it.
Yeah, but for that to be profitable,
Well, right.
you'd have to already be making
when Canon is
Yeah.
my sponsor,
Oh, I see.
then, right?
How much would you charge someone to? This seems like a weird. But how much would you pay someone? That's even better. How much would you pay someone to edit all of your videos?
Like my life.
Yeah.
I hate it. Hate it so much. I don't know.
Because I wonder, because I'm like, oh, how much really does it take to be profitable? And that's one thing I think a lot of, which is why I also, I do too many things. Sometimes when I'm explaining the different things I do, I get tired. And I'm just like, this person's just gonna think I'm an asshole.
No,
said.
you're one of those people. I think the camera's gonna shut off in a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
We're gonna take another break. Ow. Man, I've been sitting on my leg for
Just
too
go
long.
say that before you stand up.
No. Oh, 37 seconds left. We'll be right back. Become an advertiser on The Richard Wilmore Show. Sponsorships start at just $50. Email richardwilmoreshow@gmail.com for more information.
I love the three. I got into podcasting through Gilmore Guys, and my favorite stuff from them was like 5 hours long, like 4 hours, 5. Because, well, one, I discovered them while driving to Las Vegas, which was an 18-hour trip, so I was like, yeah, this is cool driving back. So the whole thing took like 50 hours or something like that, so it was great to be able to listen to these long conversations and just forget that you're driving. I love them.
I have a hard time watching movies for that reason. I feel like I like movies, but I can't. I need a pee break. I need to get water. Like I'm a 20-minute TV show, and then like I can breathe for a minute.
Yeah, I think with movies, that's the problem. They take your eyes.
Yeah.
And even I watch a lot of movies. People would be shocked to see how much content I consume in a movie, because I watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies. But a lot of it is like, I'll minimize the screen, or I'll even be like, on a different screen and not even watching it and listening to it. So I think that's the big part with movies, like giving it your full attention. And then different movies you have to like really watch, and some it doesn't really matter. Netflix is making a lot of content that I don't feel like you need to watch. Like, it's just not for that. It's like background stuff in my mind anyway.
That's what I usually use it for. I turn something on, and then I'm half paying attention, but I'm working on my computer doing something. It's like that's also what I use music for. But it's sort of my like. I don't know.
And music is cool, because music and podcasts, you're not expected to listen to anything, and I think that is kind of cool. But you can pause it. Like, that's what I never understood. Like, there would be people complaining about the long podcast episodes. I'm like, what do you? Press pause.
Yeah.
All you have to do is leave the thing. It's not. Why are you trying to get them to reduce content? It's the same thing as having multiple episodes. You need the closure. Are you like, the lack of closure is making you feel uncomfortable about pausing the podcast?
That would probably be me. I've never listened to a 3-hour-long podcast because I feel like I'm the person who, like, once I start it, then I'm gonna have to finish it, because I'm never gonna find the right pause moment. And
which is any moment. It's a button actually. But
it is, but what if we're in the middle of a great tree planting story, and then someone's like, nope, they're not going to know how many trees we planted.
Yeah. Until you press play.
But what if it's 2 weeks later?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm following the line of what ifs on that one.
I like closure. It's the point of my story. But I used to listen to a lot of. I also don't have a long commute anywhere, which might be it too. Where like literally my ride to work is one song. So when I had a long drive to work, I would listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I guess kind of the same thing, because then I would and then you'd have to pause it where you're at.
Exactly. It is the same thing.
All right, well, fine. Then I changed my mind. 3-hour-long podcasts are the way to go.
I like them. I find it hard to do them. I think it's really interesting that people can like do that. A 3-hour podcast.
That's a lot of prep work.
Yeah. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of
Well, it should be sitting in one location.
This is true. My butt hurts now, and we've only been here for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You're one of those people that I love hanging out with because you're so energizing. Because they're always like, I can feel it, that they're like, ideas always popping in your head. And you're always, and I love that about you. So I thank you for sitting for a minute.
Bro, if you want a couple free ideas, I give out ideas sometimes, because I really just do have too many. Do you need any ideas in any area of your media?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Okay. Richard on the street.
Yep.
You've already thought about that.
Yeah, we're working.
That's gonna be easy. All right, let me try to give you something you don't have yet. Okay. I'm talking the Richard Wilmore Rewind. This, you film yourself watching your old episodes and commenting on them. So it's like your own like reality TV show, and you're like, and then you comment on it. Or you do that with people. That would be even more interesting. It's called Popcorn Time Machine, and you get popcorn and then you watch old episodes of your show and you film it, and the camera's like right.
I thought about doing that as like an end of the season, like best of,
Oh, so
like
you had that idea
and
already.
then like,
Okay.
but not full episodes. I've seen that done before.
That's actually something that I'm really into doing, like just in media in general, and I want to try it out in a lot of different ways. Because that's essentially what reality TV show, reality TV is, and it's true. When there's a certain value in the storyline already, but when you do this whole like side by side thing or commenting, like it's really interesting. It actually brings me into like quantum physics a little bit, because you know about like observation and how observation actually okay, I just got really weird. Collapses the wavelengths. Anyway, so by getting to watch someone watch something, I think it adds a very interesting level of just like relevancy or relatability that people find cool.
Do you have any ideas in your head that you're excited to try or do?
I'm doing them all.
All of them.
Yeah. I mean, except for skateboarding, which is why I added that to my list. I'm in process of basically everything that I want to do. So space. I don't need to go all the way in. Just a glimpse.
Is that a podcast or is that filmed? Do you think? I
Film?
feel like you should film that.
Yes. Or podcast might be easier, but I think that'd be good.
I would want to see it,
Yeah.
not just hear about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Me and Mr. Composition again on our expansion recharge thing. One of our goals, I like to do lofty goals. I heard this is actually bad for morale to have goals that are too high, but I don't care. So our goal is to get our podcast played from another planet.
Is there is that a goal with a date in mind, or is that just a goal?
It's open-ended, but I'd say a year.
Good. Oh. Do you have a specific place you'd like it, or just any other
I'll
planet?
start with the moon and then Mars.
Okay.
Yeah, it's closest. Anything after that's going to get a little difficult. And they already have, some stuff, I think, on the moon that could probably broadcast it. I don't know what NASA's rules are.
You could call them.
Yeah, exactly. That's essentially what I think is going to be the plan. Because the whole reason was because, do you use Anchor podcasts at all?
No.
To do podcasting? Well, it's a podcasting hosting company. And they have, you can see when you go into your thing, obviously the different countries people are listening to. But they break theirs all the way down, it's countries and then continents, and then they actually break it down by planet. So it's like 100% of your listeners are coming from Earth. And I'm like, well, that's lame.
I can't believe that.
I don't have a single, not a 0.002% of my listens are coming from Mars.
I feel like that means that they're prepping for it, for you to be able to listen on other planets. They're like one step ahead of everyone.
Exactly.
So you're on the same.
Yeah. So that was kind of related into it. But I guess now that I'm thinking about it, that would be if they're broadcasting it from Mars, that I would still get the listen on Earth, because the listener would be on Earth. So we actually need to get a receiving device on one of these other planets or moons.
We're gonna need a sponsor for that.
Yeah, NASA or SpaceX. SpaceX.
I feel like now you just tweet people and then that's how things happen.
Yeah, exactly. You get enough attention, and we tweet it.
Right.
50 of our friends retweet it. Elon Musk sees it. Done.
And by Christmas, we're on Mars.
Exactly. Yes. Podcasting wise.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. They have a rover up there. If I can just all right. I know you guys are busy, but give me 5 minutes on one day just to use that rover.
I mean, it has to there has to be maintenance time. Like, it can't be working all the time, right?
Exactly.
Give it 5 minutes.
And I think that's good for everyone. That's good we live in times where people need to look to the stars, you know? And I'm not for people. Sorry. This is serious.
Is this? I don't know if this is vodka in here. I'm not quite sure. Well,
I'm not for people feeling down, okay, or unmotivated, or like they're stuck in life, you know? And I want them to dream. I want them to feel like something crazy is possible. And if my podcast being heard on Mars does it for them, well, then I'm going to put my heart and soul into it.
I feel like we're gonna save this, and when that happens, you and I are gonna sit down and watch this interview and then comment on it.
Yes, Popcorn Time Machine
That's gonna be my first episode.
1.
And we might do it from Mars.
We might. We're definitely not going to do it from Mars.
We could.
I don't know. If I go to Mars, it's going to be when I'm 70. Because
I'm sure my
I
show
don't
will
know
still
if
be
I'll-
around when you're 70.
That's true. That's
Maybe.
true.
I don't
You really
know.
think so?
If I'm still sitting in my living room talking
Yeah.
to people when I'm 70, just put me on Mars.
Why?
I feel like,
What if you had 5 billion views an episode?
what planets are they coming from? That's what I want to know. By the time I'm 70, I want 5 billion views, and I want them from other planets.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. I believe strongly in at least just trying to reach out to into space. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm like, why not? Like,
Why not?
try to do
Stranger
something.
things have happened. So,
And space has happened.
exactly.
So,
It's not completely out there.
what stranger things have happened in space, Joe?
Alright, Kinyo, thanks for hanging out with me. You have to go paint
I do.
now.
I do.
So, thanks for finally hanging out.
Thank you. I'm so glad I begged to be on this show and I finally got to be on it. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
It's a huge privilege.
Well, you have a mug, so you'll never forget.
I get to take this with me?
Yes, that's yours.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
you're awesome.
Right?
You must love just that reaction thing.
It's so fun. I love coffee mugs. I
Yeah.
love like random coffee mugs. So I was like, I need coffee mugs and I want to give them to everybody. And I love that everybody, at least fake, loves it when I give it to them.
That's so cool.
I think it's cool. I
This is
love
a
mugs.
really big deal to me.
See?
Oh man,
I know.
this could be a memory forever.
I'll sign it if you want me to. All right, Kinyo, go work now again.
I know,
All right.
non-stop. I'll see you guys.
Bye bye.